You are standing in a dense, humid forest, the air thick with the scent of ferns and decay. Giant cycads tower over you, their fronds catching the filtered light of a sun that feels both closer and more ancient. The ground beneath your feet is a soft carpet of moss and fallen leaves, but it's the sound that truly captures your attention. A low, rhythmic thudding vibrates through the air, a sound so deep you feel it in your chest, in your very bones. You look up, and there, 100 yards away, a colossal herbivore plods along, its long neck swaying rhythmically as it browses on the treetops. Its presence is so monumental, so undeniable, that it feels less like an animal and more like a geological event. It's a surreal, humbling moment. You find yourself wondering what it truly felt like to stand in the shadow of a living giant, to share a world with creatures this magnificent. Ever wonder how we, from a different time and world entirely, can even begin to understand their lives? Can we, thousands of millennia later, reconstruct the most intimate details of their daily existence? We can, and the answers often lie in the unlikeliest of places. The evidence isn't found in gleaming claws or fearsome teeth, but in the fossilized leftovers of a long-ago meal. Now, let's journey back in time and uncover the story of a lost world. The first clue to a dinosaur's life often comes from a fossil that is, to put it mildly, a bit gross. We're not talking about a skeleton here, but a coprolite, the scientific term for fossilized feces. Imagine a moment in the deep past. A creature finishes its meal and, well, it takes care of business. That little deposit, instead of decaying, is slowly buried by mud and sediment, and over millions of years, the organic matter is replaced by minerals, turning it into stone. What emerges is a perfect stony snapshot of a long-gone dinner. It's a remarkable piece of evidence, a direct, intimate link to the digestive system and dietary habits of an extinct animal. It's a fossil that tells us not just what a dinosaur looked like, but what it ate. When you hold a coprolite in your hand, you're holding the literal remains of a meal that was eaten over 100 million years ago. It's an almost unbelievably direct link to the day-to-day life of these creatures, a biological time capsule of their existence. The shape and size of a coprolite can tell us about the digestive tract of its producer, while the contents reveal the menu. It's a dirty job, but someone had to do it. As you examine a large coprolite from a massive herbivore, you can see not just the general texture, but also tiny, undigested bits of plant matter. A paleontologist using a careful brush might expose fossilized bits of leaves, small stems, or even the telltale signature of wood from an ancient conifer. The shape of a coprolite from a carnivore, on the other hand, is a different story altogether. These are often filled with crushed bone fragments, scales, or even teeth from smaller animals. It's like a macabre time capsule of a hunting expedition from millions of years ago, a fossilized glimpse into a predator's success. This is where we start to piece together the anatomical puzzle. A dinosaur's teeth were a huge clue, of course, a first look into its dietary habits. Just as your own teeth are a mix of cutting incisors and grinding molars, a dinosaur's teeth were a direct reflection of its diet. Consider the serrated, dagger-like teeth of a Tyrannosaurus rex. They are perfect for slicing through flesh and bone, built for power and tearing. In contrast, the peg-like teeth of a hadrosaur, or duck-billed dinosaur, are arranged in a massive dental battery. Hundreds of small teeth that ground tough plant fibers like a natural shredder. It's a beautiful example of evolutionary engineering, a biological food processor. You can almost hear the rhythmic crunching, the slow, deliberate work of those teeth. But teeth alone don't tell the whole story. Many dinosaurs, particularly the large, long-necked sauropods, had teeth that were ill-suited for chewing. Their teeth were like rakes, designed to strip leaves from branches rather than grind them up. So, if they weren't chewing their food, how did they process it? The answer, as it turns out, is found in their bellies, where an even more incredible adaptation existed. This is where the next clue comes into play. The gastrolith. The word simply means stomach stone, and that is precisely what it is. A rock found inside a dinosaur's fossilized abdominal cavity. These stones aren't just any rocks. They are smooth, polished, and rounded, worn down by the constant tumbling motion of the animal's powerful stomach muscles. They look almost unnatural in their perfection, a testament to the sheer amount of work they did. These are essentially internal grinding mills, swallowed by the dinosaur to aid in digestion. Imagine the process. The sauropod swallows a mouthful of tough, fibrous ferns, and then, using its powerful stomach muscles, it grinds the food against these smooth, hard stones, breaking down the plant material into a digestible pulp. This incredible adaptation solved a fundamental problem for these massive animals, allowing them to extract maximum nutrients from their leafy, tough diet without having to spend hours chewing. It's an elegant solution to a prehistoric problem. When you find a collection of these gastroliths, they are often located exactly where the dinosaur's stomach would have been, a telltale cluster of polished stones among the skeletal remains. Their smooth, rounded surfaces are a stark contrast to the rough, jagged rocks in the surrounding geology. This tells us they were not simply swallowed by accident, but were purposefully ingested and used as tools for survival. The size of these stones could range from small pebbles to ones the size of a fist, a clue to the size and power of the dinosaur's gizzard-like stomach. The sheer number of them, sometimes hundreds found together, paints a picture of a creature that knew exactly what it was doing. This practice isn't entirely unique to dinosaurs. Modern birds, particularly chickens and other fowl, also swallow small grit and pebbles to help grind up their food. But imagine this on a Mesozoic scale. A 2-ton sauropod carrying a small quarry of stones in its gut. The constant low rumble of them grinding together as it moved through the swamps and forests. It's a remarkable piece of biological machinery. The fossil evidence doesn't just stop at the physical stones themselves. Researchers have also looked for evidence of chemical wear and tear, seeking to understand how the stomach acids and constant churning might have affected the stone's composition over time. The clues are everywhere. You just have to know how to read them. It's an almost unbelievably direct peek into the inner workings of an animal that has been gone for over 65 million years. The detective work doesn't end with what was eaten, but also in how we know. In addition to coprolites and gastroliths, paleontologists are turning to an even more advanced method: isotopic analysis. Every organism, from a tiny fern to a towering sauropod, absorbs chemical elements from its environment. These elements, particularly certain isotopes of carbon and nitrogen, are incorporated into the bones, teeth, and other tissues. The ratio of these isotopes in a dinosaur's bones can tell us about its place in the food web. For instance, a creature that eats only plants will have a different isotopic signature than a creature that eats other animals. A top predator, eating herbivores that ate plants, will have a signature that reflects a higher position on the food chain, a phenomenon called isotopic enrichment. It's like a chemical fingerprint of a long-gone meal. The application of isotopic analysis is where we move beyond simple observation and into the realm of chemical forensic science. By analyzing the fossilized bones of a dinosaur, scientists can reconstruct a map of the ancient food web with remarkable precision. Imagine a lush Cretaceous forest. A plant, a fern for example, absorbs carbon from the air and nitrogen from the soil. A small herbivore, perhaps an ornithischian, eats that fern. The herbivore's body incorporates the isotopic signature of the plant. A carnivore, say a raptor, then preys on that small herbivore, and its own body reflects an isotopic ratio that is enriched with nitrogen, indicating it is a meat eater. The difference is subtle but definitive. It's like a biological chain of custody for a prehistoric meal. This method has provided some truly eye-opening insights, helping to settle long-standing debates about who ate whom. It's a method that is less about finding a perfect coprolite and more about reading the indelible signature left in the very fabric of the dinosaur's bones. This type of analysis has helped to clarify the roles of certain dinosaurs. For example, some dinosaurs that were initially thought to be strict herbivores based on their teeth and jaws have turned out to be omnivores, their isotopic signatures revealing a diet that included insects, eggs, or even small vertebrates. It adds a fascinating layer of complexity to our understanding of their lives. It's a reminder that the world of the Mesozoic was far more dynamic and interconnected than we often imagine. This chemical evidence is like a secret code, buried within the bones, waiting to be deciphered. It tells a story of survival, of a constant search for food, and of a world where every creature had a very specific and chemically traceable role. We're not just seeing the what, but the how and the why. It's a beautiful dance of cause and effect, an entire ecosystem frozen in time. These methods also help us to understand the scale of the feeding. The sheer amount of food a dinosaur needed to survive is a staggering concept. A massive sauropod would have needed to consume hundreds of pounds of plant matter every single day. That kind of eating leaves a mark on the environment and on the other animals around it. The pressure it created on the vegetation and the way it shaped the landscape would have been immense. It's a powerful testament to the delicate balance of an ancient world, a balance that was constantly being negotiated by predator and prey, by plants and the animals that ate them. This idea of an ecosystem in balance is nowhere more evident than in the fossil record of injuries and healed wounds. You're not just looking at bones anymore. You're reading a diary of life and death, of moments of conflict and survival. A carnivore's tooth marks, for instance, can be found on a herbivore's bones, a direct fossilized snapshot of a failed hunt or a scavenging event. More fascinating still are the examples of healed bite marks, a testament to a prehistoric struggle where the prey managed to escape and live to fight another day. It's a clear record of an evolutionary arms race, a constant back and forth between predators and prey. You can see the story of a powerful triceratops fending off a T-Rex, the scars on its frill a permanent record of its victory. It's a moment of high drama, frozen in stone for millions of years. The fossilized evidence also tells us about the sheer force of these encounters. The depth of a bite mark or the pattern of a broken bone can give us a sense of the immense power behind a dinosaur's jaw. It's a far cry from the sleek, fast-moving monsters you see in Hollywood films. The reality was often a brutal, crushing force, a raw display of strength. It's in these subtle details that the stories truly come alive, revealing a world of constant struggle and adaptation. It's not just about what a dinosaur ate, but about what ate it. This constant evolutionary pressure from predators and the need for prey to develop ever better defenses led to some of the most bizarre and beautiful adaptations in the dinosaur kingdom. The spiked tails of the stegosaurs, the massive club of an ankylosaur, and the thick armor plating of so many herbivores weren't just for show. They were a direct response to the powerful teeth and claws of the giant theropods, and in turn, the predators evolved to have stronger jaws, sharper teeth, and more powerful claws. It's a cycle of life and death that is written into the very bones of the fossil record, a beautiful and brutal dance that shaped the course of life on Earth. The information is all there, waiting for the patient observer to piece together the fragments of a lost world. The study of dinosaur diet and behavior is an ongoing dynamic field, and the evidence from coprolites and gastroliths continues to fuel some of the biggest scientific debates. One of the most long-standing questions revolves around dinosaur metabolism. Were they warm-blooded, like birds and mammals, or cold-blooded, like lizards and snakes? The information gleaned from their diet and digestive systems offers some surprising clues. A warm-blooded animal has a much higher metabolic rate, meaning it needs a huge amount of food to sustain itself. The sheer volume of plant matter needed by a sauropod, as evidenced by the large size of its gastroliths and the inferred rate of digestion, supports the idea that they were indeed very active, high-metabolism creatures. A cold-blooded animal simply wouldn't have the energy to move its immense body around and would have to spend most of its time basking in the sun to gather enough warmth. The evidence from their digestive systems, therefore, suggests a much more dynamic, high-energy lifestyle than we once imagined. It's a beautiful moment of scientific discovery when a small, fossilized stone can help us answer a question of such epic scale. Furthermore, the structure of the coprolites themselves can give us hints about social structures and behavior. For instance, large concentrations of coprolites from the same type of dinosaur in one area might suggest a communal latrine, which is a common behavior among social animals. This could be evidence of herd behavior, of creatures living and moving together in groups for safety and to find food. It's a powerful idea that even a fossilized piece of waste can tell us about something as complex as social bonds. We're not just seeing an individual animal anymore, but a glimpse into a community. This kind of research helps to correct the old-school image of dinosaurs as solitary, lumbering brutes and replaces it with a more nuanced, dynamic picture of a complex social world. The debate around parental care is another area where these types of fossils are proving invaluable. For a long time, it was assumed that dinosaurs were like modern reptiles, laying their eggs and then moving on. But discoveries of fossilized nests and even coprolites of young dinosaurs in close proximity to a larger adult suggest that some species may have exhibited parental care, a behavior that would require a complex social structure and a great deal of energy. It's in these subtle, almost invisible clues that we are rewriting the book on dinosaur behavior. One of the most famous coprolites, a massive specimen from a Tyrannosaurus rex, was initially mistaken for a rock, but was later identified by a keen-eyed paleontologist. They might not be as majestic as a full skeleton, but they are, in a way, even more personal. These fossils have also made their way into popular culture. They challenge the common and often incorrect Hollywood portrayal of dinosaurs as nothing more than roaring, mindless monsters. Instead, these fossils show us a more complex and scientifically grounded picture of creatures that ate, digested, and lived their lives in a functioning ecosystem. It has broadened the field of paleontology itself, demonstrating the value of studying every part of the fossil record. It has shown us that to truly understand the past, we must be willing to dig into the details. The simple stone, the polished rock, the fossilized meal, each one is a portal to an ancient time, a window into a world that was wild, majestic, and utterly real.